usually around February, and then we do a huge vendor fair in May or June that's at UIC. Of course, the construction summit is geared towards the construction industry. But I tell people, depending on what you do, don't think that you can't find a contract just because it's a construction summit. Because construction is not just building things. A construction site might need security. A construction site might need a fence around it. A construction site might need to be cleaned up afterwards. So just because you don't know more when you talk about them. You know, they want to hear about themselves. So you to know what's their numbers. You know, if you can find out how much money they made last year, or how much last year, or when they started, or if you can find out information about the owner, you can say, hey, I know you started at 21 and now you're a millionaire at 30. You know, they want to know that you did your research about them. So that's what you want to be able to talk about once you get in the door. And then how can you make them better? So you don't want to just talk about what you do. You want to talk about how you can make their company better, because that's what they're looking for. They want somebody who's going to improve them. But guess what? When you improve them, you improve yourself because you're making money. So that's what you need to follow up with when you do networking. And it's okay to do cold calling, because I'm going to talk about the fact that we have information on our website that you can find people that if you want to call people or, you know, try to call them and get a meeting. But if you can do face-to-face, that's even better too. So have a good business card. I like when this lady said, she said the name of the company, but she's like, that doesn't tell you what I do. I go to so many events and I get business cards. So, and I'm sure if you all go out and you have a business card, you know what happens if somebody looks at your business card but they can't tell what you do. What happens to your business card? It's in the garbage. So usually when I come back and I'm at an event and I'm going through my business cards that people give me, if I don't know what they do from that card, if all it says is Smith & Company, it's in the garbage. So you have to have a good business card that at least gives someone the idea of what you do, not just your name and company. What do you do? Windows and doors, or painting, or transportation. It should say that somewhere on your card. And you would be surprised how many people, they'll have the fanciest card, but don't tell you anything. And now that you guys are certified, you should be putting MBE or WBE somewhere on that card. We don't have a logo. So if you want to make your own logo that says MBE or WBE, or find something on the website and cut and paste it, do that, because now you're MBE, WBE certified, and that's worth advertising. I cannot stress enough the importance of a capability statement. Bigger companies have capability statements. And if you don't know what it is, the picture is like a sample of one, but all you got to do is Google capability statement. There's so many pictures. Put pictures on your capability statement. If you've done some work, especially people who do graphic design, who do construction, interior design, if you all do transportation and you have pictures of your vehicles, put that on your capability statement so people can see what you have and what you do. Utilize all your resources. So there are so many resources, not just with DPS. I'm going to talk about some of DPS's resources, but this goes back to doing your homework. So Jackie talked about our DPS alert. We send a DPS alert out every Monday. It has the bids that are available on the street that day. They'll probably be on the street for at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But the DPS alert is, you go into our website. There's an icon at the top of the page. Does everybody get DPS alerts already? Everybody in here should get DPS alerts. So you put your email address in, and then we send you the information. But we also put in DPS alerts events that are going on, not just for DPS, but for other agencies. That lets you know what else is going on so that you can decide if you want to attend. If there's anything that changes in a bid, it goes out in a DPS alert. So this is all information to keep you informed. But I know the Cook County has some kind of alert. I think City Colleges has an alert. So all of these places have different alerts that they send out so that you don't have to every day go to their website to find the information. It might, fill your email up a lot, So you might want to just pick the agencies that you're most interested in, because we all get junk email. But if it's a company that you know that you're waiting for something to come out, then the alert is the best thing to do, because then you won't miss it. We have our workshops. DPS has over 15 different workshops that we do quarterly. They repeat every quarter, so attend workshops if you can. The buying plan that Jackie talked about, we do have it electronically on our website. We call that the DPS Bible because it has all the contracts that are going to come out for the next 12 to 18 months. And it has all the agencies in it. At least 10 agencies or 12 agencies are all in one place. So what it's giving you is what's going to come out 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now. It might change because an agency could decide to push the date back or the bid date back. But the book is always updated, so the dates might change. But how does that help you? So if you see something in the book that says there's going to be a bid out in January, on our website, you can go to the old contract. It's transparency. And you can find the old contract and find out what was in that contract so that you will be ready in January when it comes out for bid. All right? So you want to read, what did they bid? You want to know who won it. But you can use that information at any time. So if you do landscape, you can Google landscape on our website up under awarded contracts. That's another icon that's right at the top, awarded contracts. So if you put in landscaping, you can find out who holds the landscaping contracts for right now. And if you want to contact them and say, hey, I see you have a contract with the city of Chicago. Is there any way I can help you? I have a tree that never loses leaves. You know, if you have something special that you can offer them, here's my tree, you want to work with me, you know. Or I have a floor cleaner that you will never get scuffs on the floor again. So you have to sell yourself. So when you call them, you have to get a meeting, and you need to let them know why they want to work with you. So these contracts are already on our website available for you to look at, and for you can decide when that bid comes out, do you need to go lower than them when it's time to bid? If it's 10 years later, you're not going to go lower because it's the cost of living. You shouldn't have to go lower if that contract is 10 years later. But that's something you all should know. So don't go lower 10 years later because things have gone up in cost, okay? But it's a good use to be able to see a contract that's already been awarded. There's also on our website, and I'm probably going ahead of myself. Let's see. The buying plan, the DPS alert, the workshops. This is the Small Business Center. So, of course, all the bids are picked up here. They read the bids in this room. I think now with e-procurement, some of the bids are online. Okay, yeah. So e-procurement, and that's on another slide, is really new. And I think more and more people out more features of e-procurement. So I don't think you have to come down here all the time to pick it up, but I think you have to come down here to drop it off or something like that. But this is the room where they read the bids. So what I was going to say is that they have something called a bid takeout list. So everybody who picks up a bid, their name goes in our system under bid takeout list. How is that useful to you? So you can see who your competition might be. So if you get the bid takeout list and you do flooring, you can see everybody else who does flooring and who took out that bid. So if you're not going to bid, you could possibly contact them, because you have to leave a business card, and so the business card gives your contact information. So you all need to know that if you bid on something, you have to leave your business card and your name will be listed on the bid takeout list. But you can contact that person and say, hey, I see that you took out the bid for flooring for all of City Hall. I can, do a special floor that doesn't do scuffs. Maybe I can come on that contract with you. If a contract for the whole City Hall went out, I'm sure it'd be about $2 million. I'm just taking the numbers. Don't nobody quote me on that, please. I don't know how much that would cost. But if you're a small company, you can't handle a $2 million contract, but you can try to get on that contract with someone else. Maybe it's a $20,000 contract. And this is something you all need to know as new M&Ws. If it's $20,000, you don't need the M&W. You can bid as the prime. So if you say, this is a $20,000 bid, I think I could do it by myself, you can bid for $20,000. But if it's $2 million and you can't, that's where your certification comes in handy. Because then you could be a sub with someone who can handle a $2 million contract. So that's why I said if they were about to change all the floors in City Hall, you would probably have to be a sub. But if they were just going to change the floor in this room and it would only cost, and they were, I could do this room for $20,000, then you could do it by yourself. And you don't need the M and the W to do that. People, a lot of times, once they get certified, they don't realize that they can still bid on their own without having to be a sub, as long as you can handle the job. Okay? Live streaming, all of our workshops on the YouTube website. So if you missed a workshop, you can still watch it on YouTube. And I think it's youtube.com/DPS. All of the classes are on there. The only difference is when you watch it, you can't ask a question, of course. With you all being in the room, you can ask your questions afterwards. But if you miss something or you just want to go back and listen to something, you can see it on YouTube. I'm sorry. Actually, this is the bid and bond room. Small Business Center is Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. And I 100% recommend Business Affairs and Consumer Protection. That's the Small Business Center because that's where you get your license. I don't know if all of you went through BACP to get your business license, but we recommend that people go through there. If you're a small business that just started, they have a day for free lawyers. It's the same day every week, I believe. They have a lawyer that comes and talks to businesses for free and give free legal advice. They have a day for small business startups. So if you need money for capital and startup, they have people that come there and talk about startup money. They talk about locations. So if you haven't selected, maybe you're still working out of your home right now, but you want a location, you should go through Business Affairs and Consumer Protection because you want to make sure that the area you select is zoned for what you do. We had, it was years ago, but we had a company that came to one of these classes that had signed the lease for a car wash in an area that he couldn't have water. Not like that, because, of course, a car wash is taking lots and lots and lots of water. That area wasn't zoned, and he had already signed the lease. So never sign a lease without making sure that that area is zoned for what it is that you want to do. Of course, that's most people here might just need an office space. But if you're doing something that needs more space or has a special need, check with BACP first. Just like you can't open a liquor store near a school or a daycare. You can't do it. So don't rent a space and then think you're finna open a liquor store and it's a school on the corner. So that's not going to happen either. So the Business Affairs, that is the Small Business Center in room 805. They're actually located right next to us. And a lot of times before people get certified, I tell them to go there first before you even get certified, because you might need to make sure you have all the licenses that you need for your business. Your business might need more than one type of business. It might need more than just the Chicago business license, depending on what you do. So the DPS website is a wealth of information. Everything, procurement and contracts is on our website. So most recent news is going to be any type of press releases that come out from the mayor or from our commissioner. Our commissioner just changed in August, so Jamie Reed used to be our commissioner. Now she's at aviation. And now Shannon Andrews, who used to be in Cook County, is now our CPO, Chief Procurement Officer. So what we do um, is basically contracts, certification. All of these are drop downs. I think I put it in there too. So what we do auctions. We do auction off old City of Chicago material. So you can click on each one of these. I won't go through. They're pretty self-explanatory, but contract administration, once you get on the contract, there are documents that you're going to need. So all of that is on the website. The debarment list, none of you will ever be on this list, right? So you don't want to be debarred because that means you did something illegal or something that you shouldn't have done as a certified vendor. The diversity credit, capacity building, small business programs. Those are ordinances, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Our events and outreach, sometimes we put events and outreach for other agencies. The MBE program, Procurement Reform Task Force, Rules and Regs, and e-procurement. So all of those, if you want more information, is on our website. So e-procurement, like we just talked about, is rolling out, is to make procurement paperless, because we have a lot of paper. We're so happy now, and I'm sure you all are happy that the certification process is now all digital and uploaded instead of having to bring all those papers down here. So e-procurement is an advancement to business to government that applies digital technology to the acquisition of goods and services. And all of you, I'm sure you can read that, and it's on your PowerPoint. But it's rolling out slowly, so we have to roll it out to not just you all, but we have to roll it out to every department. Because every department, when they're ready to purchase something, they have to go through e-procurement. You have to go through e-procurement, and we have. Anybody using e-procurement now? Nobody? Okay. So it's rolling out, and we've been doing trainings on e-procurement. So it's still fresh and new and sparkly. So we're getting used to it. This I cannot stress enough, especially if you are ready to bid on something. Read instructions carefully. We understand that government solicitations for bids, proposals, and qualifications contain a lot of information and may have mandatory forms to complete. However, non-responsive bids must be rejected. Rejected bids increase the cost of work to the city and may result in your firm not getting the contract. So that goes to making sure you have dotted all your I's, crossed all your T's, added things correctly. That is so important that when you're submitting a bid, that if you off and you added something $2 off, that could throw your bid out. So make sure you read all the instructions. I do believe when you drop off a bid, it has to be here at a certain time, and I don't want to say 11 o'clock because I'm not totally positive. But if it says 11 o'clock, don't get here at 11:01 because they will not take it. Where I said, being on time is 10, 15 minutes early, that's what you want to do. If you're dropping off a bid, be here early because you don't want to, it's a lot of work to put it together, and then for it not to be accepted just because you were 2 minutes late, that's very frustrating. So you might as well, have it in your head. If you know that bid said 1 o'clock, put 12 o'clock in your phone or something to say you're going to get here early. That's important. And read all the instructions. If they're asking for certain documents, make sure you have those documents. And it has to be included when you bid. Have all your facts right. So make sure that your telephone number, email address of the procurement staff assigned to your solicitation is listed in the bid opportunity list. So the bid opportunity list is what you get in the DPS alert. Always refer to this person with questions. So usually before a bid is due, anybody got the bid opportunity list? Do we have them out there? No? Oh yeah, it's one up there. So a bid opportunity list is going to list the bid, and then on one side, I can't remember if it's the left or the right, it's telling you who in procurement is in charge of that bid. So it's a good thing if you have questions. Thank you. This is what a bid opportunity, if anybody, I'm sure all of you seen this, right? So if you have questions, you want to contact the procurement specialist. So it's on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, depending on if you read it. And I think when you use this electronically, if you click on it, it'll give you their phone number. So, of course, you can't see it because this is hard copy, but if you're online and you click it, if you click on their name, it'll take you to how to contact them. So if you have a kid, ask the question. We are here to answer questions. Just like with the certification process, if you had questions, you could call and ask. So if you're about to bid on something and you have a specific question, they'll tell you if they can answer it. You can't ask them, so how much should I bid? Can't ask them that. But if it's something technical or something that you don't know about, they can help you. So it's really important to know who the person that's handling that bid in DPS. Make sure you know when the solicitation is due. That goes back to the date and the time. Missing information can disqualify your bid. A missing signature, a math error, or the failure to complete all documents can be cause for a rejected bid. And that's not just with the city, that's anybody. And one thing I try to, when I do these classes, I always tell people, don't just think about the city of Chicago for business. You should try all the agencies, and at the end of this presentation, we have I think there's a list of the other agencies, the sister agencies, but you have to think outside the box. There are hospitals that you might be able to contract with because they have diversity programs, the schools, city colleges, but not just city colleges, big colleges, Northwestern, University of Chicago, all these places usually have a diversity program where they're trying to hire women or minorities. Think outside the box. Places that you wouldn't even think of, hey, do they need a tree? Hey, do they need something painted? Will they need transportation? You have to think outside the box. You can't just think about working for the city. A $2,000 contract is better than no contract, okay? So these are our ordinances and incentives. There's too many of them for me to read every one. They are also on our website, but so there's a small business initiative ordinance, diversity credit. It's best that you sort of go through them because when you're ready to bid, it helps you have a credit towards your bid. So I'll use the alternative powered vehicle as an example. If you have a whole crew of cars that are electronically fueled, that can give you half off the bid when you bid for something. But it's basically saying that you're trying to be energy efficient and you have these alternatively powered vehicles. So if you read through them, you would have to find out if it pertains to you. Another good one is the Mentor Protege Program. I just had a lady that I had to meet with last week who was trying to go into construction. She didn't have a construction background at all, but she had an MBA. She felt like she was smart enough that she could hire people to do the work. You all have gone through the certification process now. You have to be able to handle the critical areas of your business. She couldn't handle the critical areas because she had no construction background. But she had been put in contact with women who are in construction right now. So those people could be her mentor. So she had already told me, oh, I talked to this person and I'm talking to this person. And those people have backgrounds in construction. One was a woman plumber. She's been in the business for years. Of course, she's not going out to put pipes in, but she can supervise the people that are going out to put those pipes in. Another one was a person that was doing concrete. She's not doing it, but she can supervise it. The woman I was talking to could not do that. Yeah, you can hire people or you can hire union people, but the first question you're going to get from an officer is, if they do it wrong, do you know they did it wrong? Or are you just going out there and say, good job, but it's cracking? You know, you have to be able to do the critical area. So I recommended to her that if you have these two companies, that women that are in construction, you need to write a mentor protege program. In that contract, they have to say what you're going to learn. And it's good for a smaller business. If you're a small business, but you know somebody who's been in the business for years, you all can get a mentor protege contract agreement together, that company is going to say, I'm going to make sure that ABC Concrete knows all of these things by the time we finish in 6 months. They both get an advantage to this. So the city encourages mentors to have in place an existing MBE program that provides meaningful participation by M&W firms for work performed on projects. What this doesn't say is that that mentor is supposed to use that protege. So once you're in the program long enough, they should be able to put you on a contract. And that's what you're putting in writing. So I told her once she got that mentor or protege contract agreement, she could come back and possibly get those construction codes. Right now I can't give you construction codes because you don't have a construction background. You could get something else, but you can't get construction. She needs to do a Turner construction class or a Dawson construction class. Take some classes, come back, you got more experience under your belt. Okay. Phased graduation. So in order to maximize diversity, firms which have gross receipts that have surpassed the limits stated in section 292470. If you're construction, we go by the SBA standards. If you're not, the number is 38.9 million. I'm going to be waiting for all of you to get to 38.9 million, because then I'm going to be your best friend. I'm going to be your best friend when y'all get there. But you don't get kicked out the program right away. So you can still work as a M or W, but we phase you out. So the first year you get 75%, the second year 50%, the third 25%. It doesn't happen overnight because your gross receipts could change. So if you get to the second year and your receipts have dropped, then you're right back in the program. But this came about because people were like, hey, I'm dropped right out of the program. They didn't like it, so now we have phased graduation. Everybody, I'm taking everybody's card to see if you get to 38.9. So this is what I said, don't stop with the city. You have phone numbers up there, but the same thing as Chicago Public Schools, Cook County, and I hope all of you know that now that you're certified with the city, the county will accept your city certification letter. So if you decide to bid on something with the county, you use the same letter. Years ago, you had to get certified with the city and get certified with the county, but now everything is reciprocal. All of these agencies do accept your city certification. We do not. We only accept ours or Cook County's. So if somebody goes through Cook County, we will accept that Cook County letter and our letter. But if you go to the state of Illinois, we don't accept the state of Illinois certification. None of these other ones actually do certification, but the state does certification. And then there's also DBE certification, which is a federal program. Is anybody DBE? No? Oh, DBE? Okay. So DBE is a federal program that we use for federal contracts. Most of them are at the airport. So there's DBE and ACDBE certification. If you want to be ACDBE, it's usually because you want to do work as a concession at the airport. DBE is mostly for federal programs. You have to be able to do a commercially useful function for somebody at the airport. But so and that's free. It's almost the exact same documents. To do DBE, the application fee for DBE is free. So I always tell people to utilize your assist agencies. So we have assist agencies that we work with. I think there's a list on our website of the assist agencies we work with, and it's basically mostly chambers of commerce. So depending on what area of the city you live in, you can find a chamber of commerce. We tell people they will help you with your certification. They will help you with startup money. They will help you. They usually have people come out who have contracts. They have monthly meetings. They might want you to become a member, and the membership fees are different. And I'm going to say, do your research before you become a member of any of them, because different ones offer better services than others. I'm sure people have heard of HACIA. They're a good one. Chatham Business Association on the south side, Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, There's one downtown. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head, but they're in different neighborhoods. So it's up to you to find the one in your neighborhood that you want to be a part of, or if you want to go to a different neighborhood, because they'll accept you anywhere you go, especially if you pay that membership fee. But I always tell people to check to see what they're offering before you become a member. So informational resources. DPS is on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, our own website, and like I said, we have a host of things to help you out. We take phone calls at any time if anybody has any type of questions. So right now, we will open it up to questions. And I 100% recommend checking all those different agencies for their procurement process and what they have available that you can bid on. And I want to introduce, this is Maria Prado. I don't know, maybe she did one of you all's files. So she used to help us with auditing. So we used to have outsourced contractor, which was her company, but she's also an accountant. So if you have questions that you want to ask her at the end, she's available. But she used to talk about, she used to help with the how to become certified workshop, which is next week. But you all are all already certified. So, but if you have questions, because I can't stress enough that now that you are certified, to keep your documents electronically. Because next year you still got to do a no change affidavit. And annually you have to do a no change. It's easier. I'm sure you all are happy. It's way easier than doing the original certification application, but we still ask for documents. And I try to tell people all the time to scan their documents so that it's already in one place, so that you don't have to go searching for looking for things, especially your financial documents. But the other thing is that when it comes around to do your recertification in 5 years, we're going to need information that you don't want to have to dig for and look for because it happened 3 years ago. So it's good to just keep all your documents scanned and have it on a flash drive so when you need it, make folders and put it on a flash drive, and then you'll be able to find it when it's time to either do another certification or to do your recertification. So everybody, and I don't know, hopefully everybody read their letter, is we don't send a letter every year. So you get one letter, and it has your no change affidavit dates on it, so that because you might get a reminder. I think that the system does remind you that your no change affidavit is due annually. We ask that you try to send it 60 days before, because you have to give us a chance to process it. We have people that are on contracts and their certification is expiring, and then they want us to rush. But if we rush, that means if I have your no change affidavit and he calls, I don't want to have to put his before yours. So we always ask people to submit it 60 days ahead of time. Then when you get to the 5 year and you do a research, then you get a new letter. The only time you would get a new letter is something changed in your company. If you changed addresses, we'll send you a new letter with the new address. 100% important, if you changed ownership, you should let us know that you changed ownership. That needs to come out as quickly as possible if you changed ownership. If an owner passes away, we need to know that. I don't want to know that, but you might not want to know that. But if that ownership changed, we need to know that. I just got a call today from a daughter who told me her mother passed, and her mother had 66% interest. The 33% was still there. But it's a Caucasian male. He doesn't qualify for W. So they got to get that stock and that estate together soon, and she needs that stock so that they can stay the W. So now she's saying that everything is fine, that the 33% owner is agreeing. It's to his best interest to agree, because if he wants to keep the W. But you never know. When a estate is at stake, you never know what's going to happen. So we have to suspend that certification because the W died. But we need to you have to let us know that as soon as possible. So we'll take questions. I'll take questions.
Initially, you were talking about numbers, I guess, as far as being a sub or a prime on a contract, and you were saying, for instance, 20,000 to 2 million. What would determine, even if you were a smaller company, if you thought you could handle? Is there someone that determines that? If you think you can handle it, then you can bid on whatever it is.
Yes, it's up to you. If it's $1 million and you say I'm big enough to handle 1 million, then you bid as a prime. We don't hold you back from bidding on anything. You would just be the prime, and then we might even expect you to hire some M and Ws. Yeah, so that's up to you. If you just started and you just out the gate and you know you can't handle 1 million, but if you a little bit more established and you can, then you can be the prime. Any other questions?
Let's see. If all the bids are written, or how do I say this? How would I know if my company has the right amount of resources for a project to bid on it? Or if I'm, say if I'm just 1 or 2 people rather than 8. I mean, is there a level that they would I be disqualified or qualified based on that?
So no, that goes back to read everything thoroughly. So if you see something that's on this bid opportunity list and you're interested, you'd have to come get the bid. You'd have to come get the scope of services. What are they asking for? So request for qualifications for transit design and transit construction engineering services. So if I was an engineer, but I was a electrical engineer, but I don't have the scope, so I can't tell if this is something I could do. But if I came and got it and it said they're looking for an electrical engineer, then yeah, maybe I could bid on it. But if it was looking for a mechanical engineer, maybe I couldn't do it. But you don't know that until you pick up the bid. Or if it's saying scope of services, they need the work done in 10 days. And say I only got 2 people. There's no way I could get it done in 10 days. But if you were a bigger company that had 100 staff, they could get it done in 2 days or 10 days, whichever one I said. But if it's more people and they could get it done quickly, then that company could handle it. But they have to have a sub. So maybe it's construction. The sub can handle the work, but what did you say you did?
Trees.
So say it was a construction company that was about to put up a senior building, but they need to put trees around it. They could hire you as the sub to put the trees around that piece of construction. Mm-hmm. So those are the types of things you all have to think about. So just because it says construction doesn't mean that you can't get a little piece of the pie by saying, hey, I do trees. Who's going to plant those trees once that building is up? Is it any way I can meet with you to talk about what's going to be around the building? So those types of things you all have. And then we do pre-bid meetings in this room, especially for construction. So if it's construction happening, they do a pre-bid to allow people to come ask questions. And those are the people who are probably going to bid. But even if you're not going to bid, you should be in the room so that you can find out who's going to bid and how you can work with them. You could sell insurance. You could be an accountant, that they might need an accountant to do payroll. Or you could they might have to provide insurance for the workers that they're going to have, and you sell insurance, or you sell bond insurance. So it's always some in or some opportunity that you can take to get on a contract. But you have to think outside the box to say, how can I get on that contract? Where can I put these trees? Okay? Where can I provide a transportation? So you have to think about not just being a prime, but how you can get in with somebody else who might need your service. You got a question?
Can I add to the response?
Sure.
So I've been around for 28 years, and even though I'm more in the professional services area, I can add to some of the conversation. One thing that's important for us is to, if I don't get into a project, to request a debriefing. So if I send a bid for something and I'm not selected, then I can ask, can we have a meeting? Can you give me feedback? And it's not to fight about the way the bid went, but it's so that I can learn what I can do better next time. And when you mentioned capacity, I have made the mistake where I know that this project only takes 2 people. And so I bid and I put my team and it's 2 people. And then I don't get the project. And then I ask what happened, and they may tell me, well, you know, you did show that you had 2 people, but we know that sometimes small businesses, things happen. What if you lose one person? Then what do? We cannot rely on the fact that your 2 people are going to be there when we decide to give you the contract. So then I learned that I need to demonstrate that I not only have the capacity, but I have more than the people I need, so that if I lose one person, I have a backup or 2 backups. So that I have a team that can really take on the project and go above and beyond what I need for the specific bid, specific task. Okay.
So the most important thing she said is that you can request a debriefing if you don't win, so that you can learn for the next time.
So now, to her point, what she just said, if you're a small business, maybe you would go to capacity if you got the bid. So as a transportation company, if they ask for 20 vans, let's say they say, do you have 20 now? And you say no, but if I got the bid, I would get them. But I'm not going to get 20 vans and I don't get the bid. And I use 10, I have 10 sitting there.
So you have to show that you have the ability to get 10 more.
Okay.
Do you have credit with someone? Do you have an agreement with a car company or with a rental company? I have an agreement with ABC SUVs that if I need 10 more, they're going to deliver them for me. But you have to have that agreement already. Just like when we had example of a computer company, we had a lady who wanted to supply computers to places that needed computers. So we were like, where are the computers? And she was just trying to get certified. But we had to say, well, where are the computers? I don't have any. Okay, where's your agreement to buy computers? I don't have one. Then you don't have anything. So if she had had at least a signed agreement with HP or Apple, with somebody that said, this is my person I'm buying from, and we've signed that agreement, that would have been better than just saying, well, I'm not going to buy them until I need them. No, but you should at least have an agreement with someone that you know you can get those cars from immediately. So you can say, I have 10 in capacity, this is what they are, this is, you know, the capacity, but I also have an agreement to get 20 more in a minute if I needed to. Let me get him and then I'll come over here.
With the mentor prodigy program, is there like I'm in construction, so, you know, with us is funding, you know, some of these projects, you know.
Yes.
So if there was a prime or somebody that was in the program, how does the program work? You know, where you can talk to them, are there a list of people, or how does that work?
No, that's the only thing with the mentor protege program. You have to find someone who's willing to mentor you.
Oh, I see, okay.
So
okay.
like with the lady I was saying as an example, someone had already given her a door open to go talk to these 2 construction companies.
Okay.
She was talking to them, but it was more like, yeah, come on, see me, we'll have lunch. Or, yeah, you can come in the office, I have an hour free. But that's not an agreement of a mentor protege. Mentor protege is saying, I'm going to take you out on the construction site, I'm going to show you how they mix asphalt, or I'm going to show you how to mix the concrete, what they need. I'm going to show you how you should do a payroll. I'm going to show you project management for construction. So somebody has to be writing what you're going to know at the end of that mentor protege.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah, and they have to agree to be your mentor. But see, you have to sell it as if you ever bid, you're going to use me, and they're going to give you a credit towards your bid because they used you. And then you get the advantage of having work at the end of that mentor protege. If the agreement ends in 1 year, they have to be trying to at least put you on something at the end of that agreement.
Oh, I see. So you couldn't come in automatically and just become a sub with them?
No.
Oh, okay.
They have to teach you something.
Okay. I thought it was,
But you have to find the person. You have to find the company that's willing to be your mentor. We don't tell people who they should call. I mean, you can call anybody. It's up to them if they agree to do it for you.
Right, but then you got to be in the program for a certain amount of time. I thought it was something where
They automatically?
Well, we're a smaller company, okay, so we have a hard time getting funding. So let's say if a bigger company uses us as a sub, being our mentor, but, in a sense that's...
Well, that could be in the agreement.
Okay.
If they agree to help fund you or fund a job that you're on, that's up to them.
Okay, I see. That could be in there.
Yeah, that could be in there too.
Okay.
Does the prime have to list every sub that's going to be working on the job with them when they bid? And the reason I'm asking is, can they add subcontractors or sub whatever after?
So now you ask me a compliance question.
Okay, sorry.
And I don't want to give you the wrong answer,
Okay.
but I have known that sometimes primes have to replace subs, and that does happen.
Okay,
Or if a sub can't perform
okay,
what they were put on that contract to do, they have to substitute a new sub. But when you bid, you do have to already have your
okay.
M's and W's lined up.
So you should come to the pre-bid meeting always to see if you can
Yes.
be a part of that.
Yes.
And
And you have to have your letter. Well, you all, thank goodness, already have your letters, but we've had people try to bid or try to be a sub, and we have not finished the audit to say that they are going to be M&W. So you can't be in the middle of being certified and try to get on a bid. Or you can't ask a prime to put you on just because you said, I submitted my application.
Right.
When you get on a contract, you already have to have that letter because you have to actually attach a copy of it. So I don't want to, I can give you.
I'll tell you why I was asking.
Okay.
I was trying to think if it would be worthwhile to look at awarded contracts and who they were awarded to and solicit those companies to
Yes.
be a part of it
Yes.
after the fact.
Yes, it's still worth it
Okay.
because they can hire anybody they want. You might not be the M or the W on the contract, but they can still hire you if it's something that you can offer to them. And
Okay.
then you still should say, I'm a W.
Okay,
Because you don't know what their situation is with their W or with their M. So say something is going on, you don't even have to know that there's something going on. You just might happen to be the
right time,
the
right
right
place.
time at the right place
Yeah.
and say, I'm a W that does such and such. And they're like, you know what, I just lost my W.
Okay,
So yes, we tell people to call because you don't know what opportunity they might have for you. Or, hey, I'm about to bid on something in 3 weeks.
okay,
You never know. So definitely, that's why we tell people about the bid takeout list. We tell people about the pre-bid meetings, all of that, because that's all your way of getting a foot in the door. So I am, we only got 5 minutes left, but I'm going to stick around, and Maria's going to stick around if you all want to ask any private questions. You want to say something out loud?
Yes, I'd like to touch a little bit more on assist agencies. Victoria mentioned the Chambers of Commerce. There's also other organizations like the Women's Business Development Center.
That's an assist agency. We consider them
Okay.
assist agencies.
And they not only assist women, they also assist men. So a lot of these organizations provide services that are very, very practical, very useful, and you don't have to become a member. So you can ask the question. You can ask them, because sometimes they have grants, and they're required to provide a number of services to different businesses, no matter whether they are members or not. And one area that they're very, very helpful is in helping you develop the capability statement. And they've done this for different types of businesses, so they're really good. So the Illinois Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is one that provides those services. And the Women's Business Development Center, they have a variety of programs that are very, very helpful.
I do like the Women in Business Development Center. And then we also, the Minority Chamber of Commerce. But Women in Business Development Center concentrates on women, but they do help men as well. They have workshops. Some you have to pay for, some you don't. But they have a wealth of resources at both of those agencies. Yep.
And to conclude the class, I want to thank Victoria Wright for the presentation. You have an evaluation, feel free to fill that out, and you can leave it on the desk there. And I would also say, on top of what